The Odisha train crash, an incident that should have created compassion, has given one more opportunity to India haters to mock and ridicule India. The way it has been presented by the media here, many ordinary people in Europe and even in my country are reacting to this in quite a ridiculous way.
So far, at least 5 people have called me to suggest that I should stop traveling on trains in India because they are dangerous. Some foreigners have even declared that India's trains are the most unsafe in the world, and some have said that they would never ever travel on Indian trains. Sabotage, human error, or something else. India must find the reasons behind this through a proper investigation and make sure that it learns from its mistakes. But there is one thing that sounds quite strange. Why did so many foreigners quickly develop such a negative attitude towards Indian railways when train accidents take place all over the world, including in many so-called advanced nations of Europe? Now see this. These visuals are from Spain. Quite scary, isn't it? But did they also label Spanish trains as the most dangerous? Now see this. 2023. These shocking images are from Greece. And by the way, did they also label Greek trains as the most unsafe? Or how about Austria, where many passengers burned to death in a funicular train? Did Europeans' attitude change permanently about Austria's trains after that? Or how about head-on collision between trains? Here is Belgium. And this is Italy. Alright, now let's talk about some harsh figures. In 2019, there were 1,515 significant rail accidents in the European Union, causing hundreds of deaths. And as you can see here, in just 11 years, there have been more than 20,000 significant rail accidents, more than 10,000 deaths, and more than 9,000 serious injuries. Yes, that's the ugly reality of the train infrastructure of the so-called advanced economies in our modern European Union. Now, take a look at these numbers. Number of train accidents in Europe. Focus on 2021. The so-called most advanced economy of Europe, Germany, tops the list here. Then my country, Poland. Then France. Then Czech Republic. And by the way, how can we forget our European trams? Whether you have been to Europe or not, you may have already seen the images of these trams, presented to you almost like a fairy tale, right? Now, see this ugly reality. In this research, in total, 7,535 tram pedestrian accidents resulting in 8,802 pedestrian injuries collected between 2000 and 2021 were analyzed. And see this, 3% fatal and 23% severe. As reported here, even a famous footballer was taken to hospital when his car collided with a tram in Rome. And of course, on various occasions, passengers are also among the victims of these European trams. Now, let's see what is happening in India's neighborhood. For example, China's bullet train crash. Remember that? Remember how it was reported in the media that China was trying to cover up the incident? Now, this is important. The Mumbai's local trains are usually criticized for being overcrowded, and many foreigners love to mock India for that. But then, how about the London Underground, where overcrowding is a fact of life? How about New York? Why don't we see Indians mocking the USA the same way many foreigners mock Indians for their overcrowded trains? Or China? Take a look at these images. And take a look at this. That's another advanced country, Japan, where special employees literally push or squeeze the passengers in. The harsh truth is that Europe and the USA act as if they are the champions of the so-called green energy revolution, but then see this. When it comes to railway electrification, as shown here, India performs better than Europe and the USA. Yes, India wants to upgrade its tracks, but the problem related to tracks has also troubled the USA. Before you criticize India, at least understand the humongous size and scale of Indian railways. It is among the largest railway networks in the world, with more than 22,000 operating trains, with a daily passenger count of 23 million passengers, covering more than 67,000 route kilometers. You heard that right, 23 million passengers. In just a single day, India carried more people in its trains than the combined population of Portugal, Sweden and Latvia. And yes, the truth is that when it comes to accidents per million rail kilometers, India does better than many so-called advanced European nations. Let's not forget that. Even the media outlets of the colonial criminal states can't afford to ignore India's achievements anymore. For example, the New York Times reported that rail safety more generally has improved in recent years, with the total number of serious train accidents dropping steadily to 22 in the 2020 fiscal year, from more than 300 annually 2 decades ago. By 2020, for 2 years in a row, India had recorded no passenger deaths in rail accidents. And India is not trying to do it to impress foreign countries. It is just trying to make trains safer and better for its people. Whether it is the implementation of the Kavach system, upgradation of tracks, the task of 100% railway electrification, construction of the bullet train corridor, metro systems, or the introduction of new Vande Bharat trains on all the important routes, it takes time and effort to finish such large projects, and we can't expect India to magically transform overnight. But the changes are becoming more and more visible. And of course, India is bringing these changes from its hard-earned money. It is also transforming and upgrading the rail network that was built by the British to loot India's $45 trillion faster. Yes, before comparing India's infrastructure to the infrastructure in the West, let's not forget that India is rebuilding itself after it was looted, and the West is enjoying the infrastructure that was built by the looted money. Please understand the difference. Of course, Indians are grateful for those good-hearted foreigners and foreign leaders who have offered their sincere condolences and have truly understood India's moment of sorrow in Odisha. Tragedies happen everywhere, but on various occasions, the way Western media presents India's tragedies seems to be more about serving their own nefarious agenda. And in that agenda, it is frequently implied that former colonies can't function properly without the colonizers. This colonial supremacist attitude needs to be destroyed, and these psychologically damaged Western minds need to be healed. So yes, those who are using this incident to hurt India even more, remember this. Indians will learn from it, and Indians will bounce back from this, and this won't stop the growth and modernization of Indian railways. See you again